Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are. I trust everybody's doing well. Once again, welcome to 2026 and Happy New Year. Today is our product deep dive session, and then this is always happening every third Saturday of each month. Here, what happens is we get our practitioner to come in, we get to meet them, and then they share with us about a particular product area, and then based on that product area, we would now also have a hands-on demo for that particular product, so that way we would also be able to ask our questions and then get these questions answered. So also we do have a session which we have the first Saturday of each month. There we get to meet our practitioner. We do have a question bank or question template. We get to meet them, see what they do outside of work, and then how they keep up with technology and all. That happens first Saturday. And then we also grow our network. We learn to answer our questions as well. A little housekeeping. All of this is done online via WebEx. We would always share our practitioners' contact details so that you can grow that network, whether it's LinkedIn and others. And then also, you would also be able to get the recording so that even if you are not able to attend, you can play that back. That way, that will be helpful for you. The other thing, everything is done online via WebEx, so you are able to use the emojis or reactions. You're able to raise your hand to ask questions or put the questions in the chat, so that way there's also a question box or Q&A. You can put that also. It's in the additional actions or more options, those three dots, just as an FYI. Also, one thing you want to remember is right now we are actually in the Delta season. So each person that is within the ServiceNow space should have gotten the reminders about the Delta happening now. The Delta started yesterday, which is from January 16 all the way to April 16. So it's a 90-day window. What happens with that is you're able to, if you have been within the ServiceNow ecosystem or space for 1 year. So what do I mean? I mean, if back in Xanadu was when you just certified, right? So now that we're in Zurich, which is, ServiceNow has 2 releases each year. So now you'll be due to actually pay a certificate maintenance fee, which is at $200. So a lot of changes have happened prior for partners. ServiceNow actually used to give a discount $100 or so for them. But now I think they have to use their learning credits to be able to do that. So the learning credits will make sure that they can, pay that fee, but it's $200. So what that is you pay just $200. It gives you access to as many Delta exams. So all your certification, the mainline certifications, it will allow you to take the exams and then keep those current. Because now with the 2 releases each year, they combine the exams. Before it used to be every 6 months, but now they combine these exams and make them available to you at the end of the year. So or the beginning of the year, if you will. So like now, this would be for Zurich as well as Yokohama futures, which would be there. But ServiceNow has also improved it. They will provide you with a study guide, which will be the first page for each of these exams that are in for you to do. So for you to access that, you would need to make that payment though. You can pay with that credit card or debit card, if you will, and then access the exams. There would be study guides you can always go to once you're logged into the ServiceNow University. It will show you those. If you go out there, you would see it. It will show it up to you, tell you about the exams that you need to make that payment for. So here's the thing. If you just certify, so for example, maybe in Yokohama, you just got your CSA, right? So long as you just got your CSA, right, you need to write the Delta exam, but you don't need to pay any money. So, for example, you just got your certification, you will get this message, but the only thing is, you will come in there, you will just access the exam to say certificate at risk. There will be no payment. You just click and then you go. Let's fix that. You just click on it and it takes you there, right? Whatever the certification is, it will list them there. You just click on it and it goes. Just as an FYI, but that way you kind of like will get the hang of it then. So once you make that payment, then this will become active. Then you go. You have 90 days to do this. Just as an FYI, you have 90 days for you to go ahead to do this. So that's enough housekeeping, that we have. So we do have Yekini on here that's going to be sharing for us. So I would go ahead and get him squared away so that way he can go ahead and take us away. Yekini, over to you. All right.
Yeah, thank you so very much, Nayameka. It is an absolute pleasure to be on here. I remember, when I would attend sessions like this, always looking forward to it as one of the audience, picking up a little tidbit here and there along the way, and here we are. Imagine me now dishing out one or two things. So it's a lot of pleasure. Yeah, pleasure and an honor, of course. Yes. So my name is Yekeen Tajudeen, but I prefer to be called Jeremy. That's what most of my friends do call me anyway. So I'm a ServiceNow practitioner. I've been at it for say going on 3 years now, and I think that's like a very basic introduction. Except if you have something that you want to ask me specifically before we now dive into ServiceNow Studio proper.
Yeah. So, how has been your journey so far in ServiceNow? That's the only one. I don't see any other question in the chat. Then you take us going with the ServiceNow Studio. ServiceNow Studio is one of the build experience, so it's a good thing for us to have. Yeah, go ahead. So, how's been your journey and your experience so far in the ecosystem and space?
Yeah, the journey has, it's a lot of ups and downs, lots of learning, unlearning, relearning, discoveries. It's not been a straight journey. You think of trying to meander a weave or a creek, so to speak, but it's not been bad. But one thing I've come to understand is consistency. Like somebody just said, somebody probably on here said very recently, consistency, it beats, burst of intensity at any point in time. So we keep pushing on at it. You might have days when you feel so tired, and wanting to pull across, but it is okay to get some bit of rest. It's okay to feel a little daunting, but always get back on track and don't lose sight of the goal. That's it. That's it for me. So diving straight into
good deal. I love it. Consistency, and then always remember to take some break. But yeah, good deal.
So diving straight into ServiceNow Studio, like you rightly said, it is one of the more recent build platforms that ServiceNow has made available for hosts generally. Give me a moment. Let me see if I can put up my screen. I have a bunch of slides that I would like to guide us through all of this. 1 minute. Okay. I think the screen should do it. Here, and then I'm switch up. Not sure if can you guys see my screen?
Yeah, we can see your screen. We're good. Yeah.
Okay, I have ServiceNow Studio, a deep dive. That's what I have up there, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, correct.
Okay, great. So some bit of a background information. Like I said, ServiceNow Studio. Okay, before we go further, I would like to put across an agenda so that we will have an understanding of what is going to be like our take home from this session. So we'll be discussing what ServiceNow is Studio in this most basic form. Then those that can use ServiceNow Studio, you know how it is when we say sometimes some particular platforms or tools are only meant for certain expertise. So that is something that we will explore. And then, excuse me, before ServiceNow Studio, there have been different, apps or tools for developing applications. So we'll just talk briefly about the challenges that those previous ones, they usually, people usually experience with them, and then advantage of the ServiceNow Studio itself. Then we'll talk about the key features that can be experienced within the studio. Then, okay, one of the major advantages, one of the key features in the ServiceNow Studio is the integration of the old AI assists. This new AI assist thing that ServiceNow have been really putting up for all of us. It's a real game changer. It makes the whole experience entirely different, a lot easier, improving productivity and all of that. We'll do a little live demo, just to show how the ServiceNow Studio really helps in development. Then we'll take some bit of questions and then we'll call it a day. We'll wrap it up. So, ServiceNow Studio, essentially, if I were to say maybe just a few words that describes it in essence, I would say it's a unified development experience. And when you say something is a unified development experience, in essence, it means that you are able to do everything that you need to do in terms of creating an application. You're able to do everything in just one particular unit, one window. You don't have to start, jumping from hoop to hoop. I remember back in the days when we want to develop applications, we would always have to go to system definition, enter tables, create certain tables there, then maybe go to Flow Designer, having to just skip from one particular window to the other. But with the ServiceNow Studio, we are able to unify all of these different tasks that you need, be it creating the app itself, creating the files, the app metadata, the automation, the business logic, all of those. You're able to achieve it in just one single window. So that's kind of like the basics of ServiceNow Studio. It provides a unified development environment for building, managing, and deploying applications on the Now platform. Just like the statement says, it brings all aspects of the app creation into one intuitive workspace. Yeah, the key word here is intuitive. That is something I would like to really focus on. But intuitive, it means that it is designed to make work easy for us. So those that put it in place, they kind of like anticipate what you would need at every step of the way. So they are already putting it in front of you, especially with the whole AI assist thing. So talking about a brief history of the ServiceNow Studio. I think I was listening to one of these podcasts by this what's this lady's name, Laura McMahon. She invited one of the I think a former developer advocate or something. And then that was when I learned that the ServiceNow Studio came as it was included as a download, a plugin download. That was sometimes in 2024 in the patch 3 of Xanadu. So that was the first time it was released. So for those on the Xanadu release, if you want to partake of the ServiceNow Studio experience, you practically have to go into the ServiceNow store plugins in the application manager and download it. But then when Yokohama came, it came pre-installed. So long as you upgrade your instance, your PDI to Yokohama, you get the ServiceNow Studio pre-installed as kind of like a standard feature. And then with Zurich, because they designed ServiceNow Studio to be embedded for everybody to use, it's going to be like a continuous thing. And then there'll be, how it is with iOS, is when you always get different enhancements, upgrades to make it better. So with Zurich saw quite a number of improvements to the current ServiceNow Studio. The most notable one is the inclusion of source control. Source control is when you have to, connect your instance to the GitHub to transfer files back and forth. Back in the days when we were using the very first ServiceNow Studio, I remember one particular project I was working on. After developing in ServiceNow Studio, we now had to go into Core UI and then go to source control within the unified experience just to be able to send files to GitHub and back. But with the new enhancements with the Zurich release, everything was already embedded in it. There's a tab for source control. You just click on it and then you are good to go. So that's about. Moving on. Who can use ServiceNow Studio? Like I said, ServiceNow wants everybody to be able to do something. They want everybody to be able to develop absolutely whatever it is that they need to. Now, this is one of the challenges that they had with the App Engine Studio. Okay, let me say this before we move on to who can use ServiceNow Studio. Before ServiceNow Studio, there are a couple of other options that people use to develop applications. That is, if you don't want to go through the whole backend core UI thing, you would use the App Engine Studio, and then there's this other one it's just generally called Studio, but the real name itself is Legacy Studio. And some people do confuse that original studio with ServiceNow Studio, but obviously they are different. It's a major upgrade. So App Engine Studio was created for a citizen developer kind of experience where people can do the drag and drop thing. So, but according to how it is when ServiceNow when they leave when they drop tools for use, they always get feedback and trying to gauge people's users' responses or the kind of experience that they enjoy with whatever tool that they released. So they realized that the App Engine Studio and the Legacy Studio was not really giving what it is that people wanted. They wanted something that everybody can partake of. So that was when they come up with the ServiceNow Studio. And within the ServiceNow Studio, there are three different kind of experiences. I think at this point, I want to show a little bit. Where are you? 1 minute, please. Okay. Here we are. So this is the interface of the ServiceNow Studio. This is what it looks like. Please, can someone tell me if what you are seeing right now is the home page for the ServiceNow Studio? I'm no longer seeing the slide.
Yeah. That's great. That's what I want.
Okay, great. So remember when I mentioned that ServiceNow, they designed this particular tool for 3 different levels of developers. For the sake of easy understanding, I'm going to differentiate those 3 users into the no-code users, the low-code users, they only require minimal scripting, and then the pro developers, those that like to get really deep into source code and all of that. So in this tab, you would find that there are 3 options. We have the Creator Studio, we have the ServiceNow Studio, and the ServiceNow IDE. The Creator Studio is essentially designed for the no-code users. You get, for those that essentially they just want to imagine wanting to create simple forms or simple fulfillment apps like that, where all you just need to do is just put in a name, a description, then probably just drag and drop a few feeds here and there. You don't have to write a single line of code. This is what that interface looks like. Okay, this hasn't been installed, but it's not what we are concerned with anyway, so I'm just going to leave it for now. And then we have the ServiceNow IDE here. The ServiceNow IDE, the third one, is essentially meant for those that like to get really hands-on. They like to dive deep into source code. They enjoy writing codes and all of that. So they will probably feel very much at home in this ServiceNow IDE. And then the one that we are really concerned about, what we are really focusing on for today, is the ServiceNow Studio, the one in between. So it kind of like, it taps into the best of both worlds. It is perfect for no coders or low coders, those that they don't really need to write a line of code. And even as a hardcore developer, if that is what gives you joy, it is something that you always feel at home in it as well. So that explains kind of like the 3. Let me go back to our slides. Yeah, that kind of like explains the 3 different experiences that one can enjoy within the ServiceNow Studio. Just like our slide says, no-code builders empowering business users to create solutions without writing a single line of code, the low-code creators, and then the pro developers. Yeah, so one more thing that Bia's mentioning at this point is that in as much as we say that there are 3 experiences that can be achieved within that particular ServiceNow Studio tool, but of course, it just makes sense that the further down you move towards these experiences, the more complex it becomes. Because when you say something is a creator studio where you just create basic requests or forms or fulfillment apps and no coding required, it just makes sense that it's going to be as basic and simple as possible. Again, there will be very little complexity to it. Almost anybody without even prior experience can just dive into it and then bring out something meaningful. So as you go down the pathway, the ServiceNow Studio and then the ServiceNow IDE, it becomes more complex. For example, the ServiceNow IDE, if you are not really grounded in the whole full-fledged application development, you probably might struggle with it. So that's another thing that really bore mentioning, is the fact that the complexity of each of those apps kind of like increases. But ServiceNow Studio is in between, so it gives a balanced experience to it. So yeah. Why use ServiceNow Studio versus the legacy methods? Remember, if you have been following me, I mentioned that before ServiceNow Studio, we had the legacy studio, popularly just called Studio. If you go on your on the all menu, your instance, you'll probably find it there. And then we have the App Engine Studio. So creating a full-fledged application in those previous versions, it came with some bit of challenges. But during that time, when we started using it, of course, we won't consider them as challenges because you know how it is when you start experiencing something, you probably did not know that it could be better. But now that we are experiencing something better, you now begin to understand that, oh, so all of this was quite difficult. One of the major experience then was it was a fragmented kind of thing. By fragmented, it means, you will be building a table in one part, in one particular window. Then you probably want to go to another window to take care of automation, excuse me, be it you want to deal with the flows or automation, playbooks, whatever. You have to go into another window if you want to start dealing with your scripts and stuff like that. So that gives a really fragmented experience. Another key feature, another key challenge that occurred with the legacy methods was having to switch scopes manually. I know quite a number of us have come across this particular incident where you want to edit or configure a certain thing, and then you see that it could be orange depending on whatever branding you have on your instance. It could be orange or light red. We tell you blah blah blah. This form or this particular thing cannot be edited here. Click here to switch scopes. That's it. For me personally, I would say it can be really frustrating. You get so imagine when you are doing a cross-scope kind of development where you have to do one thing in one scope and then do something else in another scope. So you have to consistently start switching manually between scopes just to be able to do all of these things. It'd be either switching from the scoped application or to a global or even between two different scopes. And then one other challenge was it was difficult tracking update sets. Of course, we all know that there is that global, what was that? It looks like a globe or a world icon on the top right in your instance that kind of like tells you what update set that you are in when you are developing. But it can be, if you would ask me, it can be really tough trying to keep track of it because before you know it, you are probably in a different update set or you probably won't forget to even create a new one if you want to capture a different set of configuration in a different container. So, but with ServiceNow Studio, all of those have been resolved. One major achievement is the fact that no matter the number of things they are doing within the ServiceNow Studio, each is still remains within its particular scope because it has this thing called a tabbed UI. Okay, everybody is familiar with the browser. It could be your Chrome or your Safari. You know how it is when in your browser, you probably open something on one tab. Within that same browser, you open something else in a different tab. So, and you can have like multiple tabs. I know it happens to me a whole lot, when I'm doing, opening up different tabs in my instance and stuff. So ServiceNow Studio is designed such that you can have multiple tabs within that singular environment, just like your browser. And each tab can be in different scopes and it does not interfere with each other. So no more need for wanting to switch between scopes back and forth because you are doing one thing here, you want to do another in the other place and all of that. So yeah, that's like one major achievement with the ServiceNow Studio. It's a key advantage. The second one I want to point out is the tabbed environment, which I just mentioned. When we get into a live demo, I will show us, physically some of these things that I've talked about. The tabbed environment, I think I've described it well enough because we are all familiar with browsers, where you have different tabs within that same environment, that same browser, and you can do multiple things, and neither of those things interfere with each other. Then, yeah, like I said before, it has a centralized application work. Then you get a comprehensive code or app file search. Oh, yes. I think at this point, to make all of these things make a lot of sense, let me show us just. This is another really nice feature. So, okay, yeah, this is what I meant by tab. Can you see? This is one tab here. This is the old ServiceNow Studio environment. Yeah, this is one tab here. You get, and okay, this is the central hub for the whole application called We Volunteer. Now, this is another tab entirely. This is another tab. This particular tab now, let me see. Okay, this is a different thing entirely, but it is a business rule. It has, still on the same global scope, same, default update sets. So, but it does not interfere with each other. So here we have another one. Oh, this is another, this is a flow now. This is a flow for an app. But at the same time, it is still within the environment, all put separately, and it does not interfere with each other. You will notice that this particular restrict visibility, that's a business rule, it's an application metadata, so to speak. The scope is global here. You get, so I can do whatever it is that I want to do here, manipulate it, and then I can just you immediately jump to this place and still do one or two things within this flow. But you notice that the scope here has changed. The scope here is we volunteer. Whereas if I come in here, if I were to go by the usual method, the legacy method, I would always have to, I would be this pop-up somewhere. I'm wanting to change from one scope to another. So, but that's one of the advantages that we have here. Now, we talked about the code search, and that's something I want to point out here. Yeah, this search bar is a very powerful tool within the ServiceNow Studio. So with the search bar here, you can always search for anything, any application or any application file. Yeah, let me repeat that statement. You can search for any application as a whole. Say maybe I want to search for the incident. It will bring out everything that is related to the incident, be it the table, the applications, etc. And then I know that each application has a lot of files within it. You get. So with this particular search tab, I can still deep dive or drill down into searching for detailed application file within the app itself. You get. So that's one very powerful tool. And that's not even the last. You can even do a code search. Give me one minute. Let me just back this up a bit. Yes. So there's this little button here. It's called Activate Code Search. This is an even more powerful tool because what it does is it can actually search for a code snippet or maybe a line of code within your instance, within anything whatsoever. Say maybe if there's a business rule somewhere, imagine if I had, let me just try this. I'm not sure if this is going to pull through, but imagine if I want to search for this now. Now, and I'm here, and of course, this does not know anything. I just put it down here. Let's see if it will return anything for me. Select all. Okay, it's giving me an option to select what particular app it is. I don't even know. Let's see if it should select for the particular app. Let me just search for all. It will now drill down into every single line of code that exists in every application within your instance. And then it will return the response here. So it looks like this particular code exists in more than one place, but you get what I'm trying to mean. Imagine how powerful this is, where you can use just a particular a search tab to really drill down into individual lines of codes within in any place, in anywhere, so long as it exists on your instance. So yeah, that's one very key feature of. Let me go back to our slide. The slide is kind of like a guide to most of what I'm going to pass across is information, verbal information from my head and from some bit of experience. But this one is just supposed to guide us. Oh yeah, comprehensive code app file search. Okay, there's this little image here that kind of like depicts what I was saying earlier in the fact that yes, there's something that I should have mentioned here. Let me go back to the beginning. When I was given a what's it called? A definition for ServiceNow Studio, I only mentioned the unified development experience. You understand that? So what I mean by comprehensive creation too is the fact that all of these builders that we are familiar with, we have the table builders, we have the form builders, we have our workspace builder, the UI builder, the flow designer. All of those things, they have been embedded into the ServiceNow Studio. So essentially, you don't have to learn a new thing. So the knowledge that you already have using all of those builders outside of Studio, it can just carry it into the same Studio and then just keep up with your work in a very seamless fashion. 1 minute, please. So, yeah, discussing about the key features of ServiceNow Studio. At this point, I'll be switching between tabs so that when I mention each of these things, I'll be able to show you guys. So the first one I want to talk about is the tabbed UI. I already mentioned that. Okay, so let's pick it two at a time, tabbed UI and bookmarking, so that we can speed up time. Tabbed UI and bookmarking. Yeah, so I already mentioned what I meant by the tabbed UI. Tabbed UI, that essentially means UI interfaces in a tab-like fashion. So all of these are tabs. Oh, there's something I want to mention here. Now, this is one tab here. This is the central hub for this particular application. We volunteer. So if I were to pick, say maybe, okay, this is also, let me move this to this place. Let me close this up. This is a flow. Now, this flow belongs to this application. Look at this. It's a scope here. This is the scope for this flow. We volunteer. I don't know if you can see what I highlighted below. It belongs to this scope. We volunteer. And then This is the central hub. This is the application and all the application files. We also have that here with volunteer. So one of the beautiful things about this is it groups all of these things, all the tabs that are within the same scope, it groups them into a singular color so that it will be easier for us to keep track. So you notice that the icon for this is color blue. The icon for this is color blue. But if you were to come here, the icon is just color white. It is color white. So if I were to open this now, you would see that it has no scope at all entirely. This was even a search. So let's just close this off. So let me just close this off. So if I were to open up, okay, if I were to open up incidents, okay. Okay, let me remove this. All of these things can be grouped. Yeah. So this is what I want to point out. Because when you see that the incident belongs to a different scope entirely, of course, it's in the global scope. So it does not have that color blue color here. So if I were to open up maybe another scoped application, it will probably be different color. So for every different application files that I open that is within one particular scope, they will all have the same color. So this color grouping also helps to, what is it called? Also helps to keep track of what you are doing within the same space. So the second key feature is bookmarking. So we have our bookmarking tab here. Just like one of the beautiful things that I really like about the ServiceNow Studio is they make the experience familiar in the sense that it has some very similar features that aligns with what we are used to with our everyday, internet browser. Everybody knows what a bookmark means. A bookmark means you mark something so that you can always return to it in the easiest fashion possible. So if I were to say I search for file categories. If I were to pick this particular automation, blah, blah, blah. Okay, if I were to pick this flow now. Okay, so this is a flow here. Application intake request flow. Now this is the bookmark button, add to bookmarks. If for some reason I'm going to be working on this particular flow over a period of time, I can just easily, bookmark here. And once I have it bookmarked, no matter wherever I go to or whatever it is that I do, I leave here, I don't have to go and search for it. I just need to come here and I'll find that particular flow here. This is it, application intake request. So this particular panel is called the file navigator. So yeah, I think that's what it's called. It's called the file navigator. It's a very powerful feature within the ServiceNow Studio. You are able to find anything that you are looking for. You are able to categorize it however you wish, And then just like, there's one more thing that Bea's mentioning. Okay, no, don't let me jump the gun. Let me just take it one step at a time. So I think that kind of like explains bookmarking and then tabbed user interface. Let's go back to our. Okay, so yeah, I remember I just mentioned the file navigator. So we have the file navigator here, and we have integrated with familiar builders like the Flow Designer, UI, blah, blah, blah. So let's pick these two. Yeah, so this is
like this one
this
is
area.
table builder. That was table builder that popped up. I think the other thing.
Okay, you mean this one here?
Yeah, that's like
Okay, yeah, that was table builder that popped up.
Yeah, which is
Okay,
what you're
yes.
looking at. Yeah.
Oh yes. So yeah, this is a table builder. So I wanted to even talk about the file navigator. This particular place here, this column on the left hand side is the file navigator. It's very similar to the all menu thing that you have in your instance. And then with the file, like I just mentioned, with the file navigator, you have so many scenarios here. One of them is the recent. With recent, just like history in your instance tab, you are able to find all the different applications or files that you visited recently. It is categorized by dates. Oh, this is today, this was yesterday. Then you could have it as far back as 7 days ago and the likes. Then this is bookmark. We just spoke about the bookmark. This is the file categories. Every application files falls under a certain category. It could either be AI, Okay, we'll come to this. Would that be automation flows, client development? You find different all the UI policies, the script, etc. Under data, you find tables and forms, the usual, and then the kind of relationship that exists between them. You find integrations. So every single file probably falls under this place. So, and then if you want to, there's something here. You can, if you want to just let all of these things show in alphabetical form and not to group them into categories. When I mean group into categories, okay, let me pick something now. In application development, there's something called data. We have data experience, interface, and the experience is the interface. Data, we have the experience, we have automation, and then we have the security. So under data, we have both tables and forms, essentially. Yes, tables and forms, the list, etc. So, but if you want to group them, you can group them under data here. But if I remove, by virtue of removing this, all the different files are no longer categorized. So they are just listed alphabetically. So if this works for you, if this is what you would prefer. But of course, I like to keep everything tidy, to keep everything under the different categories here so that I can easily find what it is that I'm looking for. And then you have your search option here to find whatever it is. Remember, I mentioned the activate code search thing. So, so this kind of like explains what you can achieve with the file navigator. Yes, and then we're talking about the fact that all your common things are embedded here. This second one here, integrated with familiar builders like the flow designer, UI, form table builders, etc. So, yeah, this is an example of the table builder here, where you have you can create your table here. You can create your forms. Okay, yes. You can create your form builder. You can create your forms. Oh, sorry, this is the form builder that you can use to create your forms. You have different fields here. You can just select, and when you select one particular one, these are the different properties or the policies that you can put in it, depending. This for every developer that's familiar with ServiceNow. These are all familiar tidbits. These are the usual attributes: the mandatory, read-only, default value, dependent field, the choices for your choice field, etc. If it was not a choice field, if it was a reference field like this, you find a different set of properties here, where you can put in the reference table, or if you want to use a reference qualifier and all of those attributes and stuff. So essentially, and then when you are done building, you can easily just preview and see what it looks like. So that also opens into another tab for you. So essentially, all the usual builders that you're familiar with, like the table builder, the form builder, the catalog builder, workspace builder, flow designer, they're all embedded within this place. Like this is for example here's a flow here. So these are flows that exist under the incident table. You can always create a new one if you are so inclined to. Everything within the same scope. So moving on. Oh yeah, recent tab. I already spoke about that, just like your history. So I won't waste our time with that. Basic and comprehensive search. Already mentioned this too when I was talking about the search tab. Then, oh yeah, this is another beautiful feature. The collaborative development. So with the ServiceNow Studio, you can invite other developers to come and edit, or so that you guys can work hand in hand. Excuse me. Say we are working on this with volunteer application now. You can always just collaborate us. So that is one of the particular beautiful features of the ServiceNow Studio. So you can easily invite somebody. Say I want to invite, I don't know if this guy is here. Okay, I can invite Ibel Tuta here, and then I'll give him the kind of designation if I want him to just be an editor, just to come in and do a few things within the app. Or if he is the owner of the application itself, but let's leave it at an editor, then you send. So this invitation has been sent. So if I were to go impersonate Abel Tuta now, if I were to go impersonate Abel Tuta now, you would have gotten that pop-up and you would be able to access. And so while being Abel, and then I go to the studio. Oh, okay, it does not have that particular role. So in that way, let me just stick to somebody that I know has that role. Impersonate another user. Elva Wixon. Yeah, this is somebody I already tested on. So when I was doing the testing prior to this, when I was doing the collaboration thing, I already sent this thing to somebody. So, but she's here already. So let's just mhm. Aha, this is it. So you see, she now has access to. Now this is the We Volunteer app. The only reason why she was able to see this application is because I already sent an invite to come and collaborate on it. So in essence, that's just it. In essence, so let me end this impersonation so I won't confuse myself. Okay, I think it should be awesome. Okay, so yes, so collaboration, yeah, I think so that kind of like explains it. So multiple people can work on a project at the same time. Yes, we have the AI integration. There are some AI assist that comes with the ServiceNow Studio. I'm just going to talk a little bit about it, and then when we get into a little bit of our demo, I'll just show just something small. So, but then we are able to use. Okay, we have something in service. Let me just leave this for a moment. So with ServiceNow Studio, it has this AI assist feature. It has this generative AI embedded within it. You can use the Now Assist tool to generate. It could be a line of code that you want to generate. You could even tell it to develop a full application, and then you just have to modify one or two things within it. So and you can even use there's this other tool called AI Summary, where you build an app and then you just give it a prompt that it should give you a summary is to generate a summary of the application that you can put as a description. But this is usually used for documentation purposes and the likes. So back to and then the resources and theme. Yes, okay. Under preferences, we can always pick your life if you are prone to if this is your own preference. If you like the dark themed thing, for those that probably have strains in their eyes, and if you like the light thing. Oh, remember when I was saying something about group tab, organized tab groupings by scope? Yeah, this is what it means. Yeah. So I was supposed to have even shown that. Remember when I was talking about colors where the different tabs that belongs within the same scope, you can have them color coded. Yeah. So you would see this is red and sorry, not red. This is blue. This is also blue. So that would tell you from just at first glance, that would tell you that these two belong to the same scope. So and you see this is a different scope. This belongs to the global scope because it does not have that color. So you can also view all those things later. You can also view them down here. Let me see. Okay, what else do you need to discuss? Yeah, resources and the theme. Yeah, for resources here, there are quite a number of resources that we can enjoy within the ServiceNow Studio. So these are the different tools that you have here. You notice that each of all of these tools, they have cards, and within the cards, you get a documentation. So directly from here, without having to go back to your instance, you can easily just pick up, say maybe you are looking for certain information about certain things, and then you click on the documentation. It will just take you to where you find particular documentation about that particular card that you're looking for. So these are some of the resources that are embedded here. Okay, create assist AI agents. It will take you directly there, and you are able to read text information or guidance or whatever it is that you need to do. So that's for resources, more or less. Oh yeah, so we have the welcome center here. This one is just the usual community thing. Documentation. This will give you text information about the ServiceNow Studio itself, and then you have the script debugger. AI assist in ServiceNow Studio. ServiceNow Studio integrates generative AI and Now Assist. Well, Now Assist is also a form of generative AI, if you ask me anyway. This enables developers to build applications using natural conversational language. That brings me back to the build with agents challenge that we had months back, where we had to, build when this old build agent thing came out, and then we had to build applications with certain prompts like that. It was one of the things that I partook on. So, okay, we have this that kind of like explains how generative AI works in ServiceNow. So it just picks up your data from different places. It could be from your workflow, the experiences, the different events happening, or the integrations. Then you combine with a certain prompt. Usually, what I do before I put in any prompt to use this is I kind of like go and clean up the prompt. You probably use ChatGPT or something. So clean it up properly and identify the different maybe different files that I want you to create. So it makes it kind of like easier. So you have to, because after building the application using prompts, you have to modify, clean it up a bit. But when you clean up your prompts from the get-go, it makes the end product a whole lot easier. So okay. Also, before we go into summary and takeaways, let me just do one or two things that I can show you guys. Just 1 minute, please. So here is one of the AI assist tools that exist. Now, I don't know, it looks a little tiny, but here is the prompts that I put in to use to generate a certain application called Market Pulse. I want to build a ServiceNow App Engine application called Market Pulse. So in this point, I give it a kind of like a description of what I want the application to do, and then I essentially told it the goal here. The goal is the transparency for household and small businesses and policymakers. Then I told it to generate a full application structure according to the requirements below. This is what I meant about cleaning up your prompts. Most people will probably just want to just type in a few words. I want an application that can do this, pick in and leave it and that, and just press enter. But you probably will not get the best kind of experience in the build agent in this scenario. So you give it very clear instructions. I told it the kind of data model I should use, the tables that it should create. Told it, gave it a whole lot of information here, the workflow to use, and then the user interface requirements. I even, mentioned the security access control that I wanted to have. And then I also gave you certain build guidelines here. And then it started generating all of this for me. I'll help you build the Market Pulse ServiceNow Engine application. It's a comprehensive blah, 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 blah. And then all of that started working down. But okay, before I even go into this assist, let's just talk about just building normally within this thing. So if I want to create 1 minute here. I have a little user story here that I want to search for, that we can just use to develop something. Let me see if I still have enough. We have not used all 10 prompts finish. Okay. So let's create something new. Let me close all of this. Let's create an app. So let's give this app, say maybe an office equipment request. To track. Of course, it's going to be a scoped application, and then, yeah, continue. Of course, when you're creating a new app, there are some basic rules that before you begin to add your custom rules to it, some rules are automatically just created for you. Everybody knows that. And then, okay, so the skeleton of our app has been created, and from here we can begin to now flesh it out into whatever it is. See what I meant about scope here? It has automatically put this into the scope for me, and then so from this point on, I can even create a new update set for it. Office equipment request, and then so going forward, whatever I do within this table will be captured into this particular update set. So from here, I can begin to add data. Maybe I want to add a table or add an interface or a flow or something. I can begin to do this. I want to add a table. Say, let's create a blank one. Okay, let me see. Let me create an extended table first. Let me extend it from task. Yes, EQ. All of this does not really matter anyway. Just peripherals. At the very least, you should be able to read. Okay. So I've created one data for this particular application. And then you see that I have that data. That data should be somewhere here. Let's close this up first. Featured security.
Just refresh it. If you refresh it,
Oh,
sometimes
okay, refresh. Oh, okay.
reload the thing. Should pop up. Well, it might delay, but it should pop up. Yes.
Oh, okay, yeah, I think it has popped up now.
That's
Yeah,
what was
equipment request. That's it. Yes. So, okay, that was just one thing. So that I'll keep this pretty
Yeah, but
clean and not bore you
you can
too.
see
Want to say something?
that thing. When you bookmark it, you can bookmark it from anywhere, not just going to the bookmarks there. You can bookmark it
Okay,
into
yeah, I can easily bookmark here, so I always
bookmark. You can
find
book
it.
almost anywhere. You can bookmark. So it's a lot of pretty
Oh,
neat.
nice.
Yeah.
So then say maybe, okay, I just want to add a flow to this. I think in this place, I can actually show something about the assist here. Okay. I want to create a flow here, just something simple. Aha, this is what I wanted to point out to us. So build with now assist. Now I could easily just do, if I want to do Van Damme kind of thing, I would, go in here and just go and build my own, start. But why waste my time when I have something that can assist me here? So let's say my flow is supposed to, when an equipment is created, okay, approval flow. Mm. Mm. So and then I'll give it some bit of direction, and I'll just say when equipment request is created, set approval status to pending. I'll just let's keep it simple. Then send a notification to the approver or log a message. I think let's say something like that. I can just leave it simple and let's just say generate flow preview. So you see, okay, it's still generating. So it's just taking a sweet time. Aha. So you would see save and edit flow. Let me just. Oh yeah, one more thing. There's one feature here. Whenever you change something in any of this place, in any of these tabs, there's one little red button that's going to pop up here that just tells you that something has changed and then you have to save. So anyway, can you see, just by putting in a very simple prompt, I have my trigger created here and certain actions, update record. It puts an if logic here with the else, the counter logic, etc, etc. So I'm not going to dive into trying to test to activate this because, like I said, we are not trying to achieve perfection. It's just a demonstration to show some of the things that are possible. So with particular emphasis on the now assist thing. So now, in fact, that now assist, what I've just shown is one of the smallest things that it can do. One thing I would have loved to show us is to use the now assistant to build a full-fledged application, but I'm having trouble with because I think to get that now assist, it has to be paid, licensed, etc, etc. So there are some certain limitations that I'm experiencing. So I just wanted to be able to show that these are some of the things that are possible within the ServiceNow Studio. And yeah, let's see what my slide is saying before I know where to proceed. Yeah, that's about it. That's about it. I don't want to go really deep dive. I'll just probably hand over to Nameka and see how we can help us wrap this up. But what we should all take away from this is the fact that with the ServiceNow Studio, you have a whole unified development experience. You're able to do everything within one particular place. Then anybody can use it. It supports all levels of skill. You don't have to be one certain group before you are able to get into it and then maybe do one or two things. And then the whole AI assist feature. You have the generative AI, you have the gentic AI, you have the now assist for creators. It just gives a whole enhanced productivity kind of experience here, so to speak. So yeah, that's about it for now. So I would just probably advise that a whole lot of us should try and get more hands on it, because with spending more time on it and trying to use it from time to time, you begin to learn the different things that one can do within the ServiceNow Studio itself. So yeah, that's it. That's it for now. If anyone has anything that they would like to ask us, I'm welcome to answer any questions.
Awesome stuff. Thank you, Jeremy. We appreciate you sharing. Ahmad asks, will now assist take our jobs?
No, now assist will not take your job. Actually, it just makes your job a whole lot easier. So what you should do is get in there, get familiar with the studio and the now assist feature, and then you see that life will become a whole lot easier for you. So that's what I would just say.
Perfect. That's so true. I mean, you don't necessarily have to be an AI engineer, or you don't have to be a data scientist. Most of these tools have embedded AI everywhere, right? We already have that, happening to us. And like, I think since 2017, ServiceNow has been investing heavily in the platform itself, embedding AI with predictive intelligence, virtual agent, that conversational chat, NLQ. So a lot of things, AI search, you name it, right? So every tool that we have has also been doing the same before even ChatGPT came and then made it ubiquitous to everybody, right? But these people have also been investing. Each tool out there would have that for you, whether you're using even Bing or Google search. They have it AI mode. Go and experiment with this thing. You don't necessarily have to be a genius in it. This thing, prompt engineering, is just asking questions and then making sure you have the template set. That you need it, just like you do for user story. Roll the goal, the benefit, put the thing, and then go there and then continue to refine. It's iterative. Refine the thing. Play with this thing. ServiceNow University is there. There are courses, like there's instances there, so that because definitely it's a paid subscription, but they won't offer that to you. But there will be a course that you can take and go and take it for a spin. Even there's limitations with the build agent, right? They have 10 prompts, except maybe you're working with a company that they give you 25 prompts for this experimentation. But until you pay for it. But go there with those there labs. The labs have you test a lot of things. Go there and test them and get familiar. Get some of them come with certifications. Go get those certifications, or micro certification, whatever it is, or delivery certifications. Go do that. Go do them. Opportunities will come, and then you would be able to get involved on projects that need you. Even almost all organizations, whether customers and partners, if everybody is trying to, be AI first or AI native, so go there and use it. They are going to skill you, upskill you. The school, almost every, whether it's Udemy or whatever, they all have AI courses. Go do them. ServiceNow University, they have AI courses. Go do them. Filter for them. Now assist, whatever it is, do it. Do it. I mean, that way it will improve your chances and then make your own job easy, because that way you're already used to it. Makes your own job easy. Like I said, exponential growth even for developers or for architects, for even business analysts, for product owners, for everybody. For everybody, it just makes it easy. But good deal. That's the only. Okay. Great question. Shagun asks, how is ServiceNow
Oh,
Studio
okay.
different from App Engine Studio?
In the studio. Okay, so the App Engine Studio has been in existence for quite a while. I think it came up sometimes in Geneva. Is it Geneva? I don't even know how it's pronounced. Anyway, that's not the most important thing. So
Yeah.
I think it was designed primarily for citizen developers, because I know that there's this particular course that we took one time, where we have to learn citizen development, and then
Okay.
the major tool that was supposed to be used was the App Engine Studio there. But within the App Engine Studio, what you essentially just had was just to be able to manipulate the four parameters of an application: the data, the interface, experience, and the
Okay.
security, and that was it. So, but with the ServiceNow Studio, you get a more compressed, a more powerful tool where you can do everything. There are certain things that after building within the App Engine, you probably have to go outside to core UI to probably set a few things. But with ServiceNow Studio, you don't have to do that anymore. You from start to finish, to up until deployment, you can do everything within the ServiceNow Studio. At least that's my understanding of it.
That's correct.
Except if you'd rather have something else.
Consolidated. That's very correct. It's consolidated build experience. App Engine Studio, it was intuitive. It's really great, but it's for a particular type of persona. So it's supposed to be for builders or creators. So here, before they actually focused on that creator studio one and made that strictly for, they said low coders or no coders or whatever. Here, App Engine is supposed to be process users. So maybe you have all the things, you can use things like that, catalog builder and all of that, which many of these are already embedded in there. But here's the thing, right? Things like access control and things, if you don't build that immediately from that beginning get-go, you still have to go to the core UI, right? You have to go to the core UI and then elevate, right? Before you'll be able to get access and do all those kind of stuff. But here you can see Jeremy was able to take us through, right? He could change his scope right there. He could do a lot of things. He could just within that same interface get into table builder, get into flow builder, get into the form builder, get into every type of experience there that you need. So within just that same interface, you can go through everything about the application up to even deploying the application, collaborating with others, and also connecting it to your pipeline, like you get into your repo, GitHub, and all that. There's so much you can do just from there, right? Just not without even context switching. Yes, although we say multitasking is killer, but you can do that there just within that.
Then the same time.
Within that, very very great stuff. After my App Engine Studio be open that extended in ServiceNow Studio. Yeah, that's switching, right? Yeah, for sure. The same way, because even prior to now, you could build from by company application or the App Engine Studio or Studio. You could build from any of these, right? Legacy build experiences and switch. So sometimes you could start from the other, right? Like before we even got to mobile builder. You are not able to do that within App Engine Studio, right? But all of these you can build from App Engine, from ServiceNow Studio.
ServiceNow Studio.
Yeah, but there's a host of things because you have to go through from Studio to do that, or go to your core UI to do that. But all of that is there. So, but you can always switch. It depends, like they say, some things will be new, especially when you're just getting started with it. But if it's something you're already used to, you can always switch back and go to go to where you're used to. Yeah, for sure. There's no limit. Remember, you are in the driver's seat. You're in the driver's seat.
Oh, really? That's interesting. AI consultant roles.
Right. So now I see. So there's always been AI roles. The only thing you're looking for
Oh,
is
really?
being specific to ServiceNow. So you're a consultant, you're an analyst, you're good to go. The only thing now is the projects that you have been involved in. So there's a lot of companies that are going to be looking at, back to the basics, whether you're looking at CMDB, they will tell you CMDB rules. So CSDM, they're trying to see how they can start to mirror their service using that service portfolio management, and then SPM, and connecting it with the enterprise architecture, and all of that, making sure the CMDB is healthy and and aligned, and then getting all of that up. But many of that, right, will still involve now, once the data is right, for you to really grow the AI experiences. And ServiceNow has all of them, with the Now Assist capabilities that they have on offer. Whether if it's, a lot of people say, okay, they want to improve using that, whether it's the chatbot, so Now Assist for virtual agent, or Now Assist for search, or also improving their pipeline deployment. So Now Assist for code, so that developers will continue to build or turn out a lot of products really fast to their market. Maybe some of them might also say, okay, internally is helping our employees, or it's internally is helping our agile teams. Can we now extend it to our employees before we now extend it to our customers? So it all depends on the organization you work for, but definitely within ServiceNow, it's AI roles, Now Assist roles are there. They are open. Get involved in it, whether you're the business analyst, product owner, or you're a developer within that Now Assist capabilities. And then now too, they're getting on with the agentic, but many a time, a lot of the opportunities that are there for agentic are really within the partner ecosystem. They are just like ServiceNow had their own. They are also building out. AI agents. So maybe for the type of business they do, so that they can now start to sell it to their customer bases as well. But yeah, the opportunities are and continue to grow, and they won't stop too. Yeah, for sure. For sure. That's the last question, I think, and that was Michael. Shagun said, great insight. Thanks, Shagun. And thank you, Jeremy, for sharing that experience and taking us through. There's
Yours, mine.
nothing in IT without that demo. That demo is really is really the key there. That way, you see all the theory, but you see it live, and then you see how exactly it is intuitive, easy to navigate, and then you to get on with it. So go out there on your PDI. The same thing that Jeremy had, except for I think the Now Assist and the Build Agent one. So long as you have a PDI in Zurich, should be able to do most of that. The only thing that might be missing might be the AI part. So like some of that AI
I do
part.
have a question now.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, even though I know I took the discussion, but the truth is I came across some certain challenges. Now, if
Okay.
when I was doing some bit of research prior to this, I
Okay.
noticed that in the ServiceNow Studio, in the top right corner, there should be this thing, that star symbol that ServiceNow just introduced into their whole branding. There should be that designates the Now Assist, like a
Right.
Now Assist little button. It's supposed to be on the top right. I kept searching on for it. I couldn't find it. Then I now saw a particular documentation that says I had to go and install the Now Assist for ITSM. But on trying to install it, I was told that it's a page this thing, like I cannot install. So I just decided to just leave it. So I used the build, that prompt that we have in the Zurich PDI. That's what I used for the whole build agent app that I demoed. And then I used one of the labs that comes with some AI courses, the ServiceNow Studio course. That was the one that I used for our demo. So, but I just want to confirm. So, is it that the full AI assist feature, you can only access it when you pay for it? Is that what it means?
Correct. It's payment. Huh? You don't want them to make money.
It's payment.
That's how you go to
Okay.
ServiceNow University. There are courses that are aligned with that.
Okay, you pick
That's
their
it.
courses.
So
Okay.
it's traditional AI, like predictive intelligence, even if it's not even all of that predicted, because you must have data a lot, right? So basically, like virtual agent, you can do that one. Natural language understanding, you can do that one on your PDI, right? But if you want to get deep, like Gen AI and then the agentic, you go to ServiceNow University and get the courses, right? The build agent is just one piece. That one on your PDI, if you install the build agent test or whatever, if you install that from ServiceNow,
Yeah, I did that. Yeah,
it gives you just 10 prompts.
Yeah, just 10 prompts. Yeah.
Right. You can install that in your Zurich thing and then use Studio ServiceNow IDE, which is that within our ServiceNow Studio, and then use the build agent and do that. But other than that, it's supposed to be tied to those courses, because that way you can take it for a spin, right? If your company, you're using your company email and your company is a partner, you're paying, right? You're a paid customer, something like that. Then you can get that 25, because it will be tied to maybe the company email and stuff. Maybe you're in a company sandbox. Then you can get 25, per month, just for you to test, because it's all playground stuff, right? For people to go take a look. But other than that, if you go to, if you were using training instance, that lab instance, you would need to go to, for you to get that sparkle sometimes, right? You would need to go make sure that you have at least Now Assist for virtual agent at the minimum. So if you go to the core, go to the settings, right, and the overview page, or if you go to this the settings and you get to the different categories. If you go to the core UI, go to the virtual agent one, you need to go and turn it on. The admin panel, that panel must be there. That's why that's
admin experience.
If you turn in that admin experience, the panel, the panel. So if you go to the admin access, go to the platform or core platform, whatever, then you will see that you say Now Assist for virtual agent. So you can either turn that on, it will tell you default to the panel, turn the panel on, just make sure you have it tied to the core UI or platform UI. It will now allow you for the sparkle to show on top. For the sparkle to show up. If not, the sparkle wouldn't show up. But
I kept looking for it, looking for it.
Yeah, the sparkle would not show until you turn it on. Yes, turn it on. But that's why I said, don't ever experiment on it. Most of that stuff is there. Try it out before it's something that just the once you go turn on the panel might even be turned on, but you won't see it until you go there and then make sure specifically for that virtual agent or the core platform, turn those on. Those two will be off. So that's why that sparkle will not still show there. Yeah, let's go there, go try it. For sure. But good deal.
Yeah, I get it now.
Good deal. Good deal.
Thank you.
So once again, thank you everyone for that, coming to share your Saturday with us. We are grateful. It is our time to go. But do we have anyone that in a couple of minutes we'll share Jeremy's contact details, and then we'll share the recording as well, so that everybody can, for those that can. That's only I can see.
You like item 7.
So that way you can connect and share. Do we have anyone that's certified recently, like that had the CSA, that we can all walk through together and then do that CSA one? Because they would definitely be able to get their Delta exam. We can walk through together with it. If any time for that, for the CSA one, it will be about 10 questions, although they will move those questions around. So maybe you might have maybe about 5, I want to believe about 5 or so versions or variations of it, but it's the same exams, the same questions, they don't move them around, because it's all covering that study guide. So the changes that have come through with, okay, Michael, you raised your hand. The changes that have come through with Yokohama and then Zurich now, yes.
And Zurich.
Just a quick one.
Yeah, go ahead.
Thanks, everyone. For the
Hello.
foundation, do you have any maybe session that you could talk about it or something like that? And how many questions are there?
Right, for the data foundation is 75.
Oh, 75.
Wow.
75 questions. Yeah. So all you need to pass it is that CMDB fundamentals. I can just go. Just give me 1 second. Let me just let's go do it. So even if you have taken it before, I think Emeka was talking about it. Whether we can take a look and then do something there. All you need is the CMDB fundamentals on demand course. You need to just do that. If you go do that course, it would provide you everything that you need. The only thing that you need to now make sure you do because it's really for the core part of it. They are talking about the CMDB, CSDM part, a few questions, but it's more about that CMDB workspace.
Okay.
The different sections in there of that workspace.
Okay.
And then there's some, so this you can take a look at also, but there's this introduction to the CMDB workspace. You want to take a look at that. But the data manager also is another one that is there, but the major thing you need is the CMDB fundamentals. So that's the one you need. Espanol, and that put that English I still yet. I don't know why it's still, because I know I think yes, English, so it's doing that. I can open it though, but I see can go ahead and do that one. This is French one. I think this should be English one versions and there.
So what about CSDM fundamentals?
There is CSDM fundamentals. You would want to do that one just for you to get a good hands-on for the for service builder and application modeling, so especially the service portfolio side of it. But for the most part, you don't need it, because in the CMDB fundamentals on demand one, they would actually talk about it.
Yeah.
So they talk about what you need there. So when you're done there, you come and take a look here. They have they have a couple of what's it called? They have a couple of questions there, I believe, at the end of it. Talk about the objectives, the lab. Just make sure you do that. Configure the CMDB and the whole thing. Just make sure that you do the labs that it comes with, and then you see the 3 pillars they talk about. So ingest, and maintain, and then governance, or governance and then maintain, or something like that. So if you just make sure you do that, and then those courses inside of it, right? Those quizzes, make sure you document those quizzes in a notepad, so that you can use that, and then maybe take on this what's it called? Syllabus or whatever for the thing. If you do that, if you get it, you can even feed it into any of your AI modeling and ask for sample questions. But if you are able to collate the questions and quizzes, even the one that says even the ones that say drag to whatever, if you get those, best, I should be able to get you close to more than 30 questions. It's 75 questions, 90 minutes. So extra 15, because most questions now at least are 60 questions. So except for others, maybe some are 40 or 43 or whatever, for the most part. So if you do that, you should be fine. If you want something extra, if you want something extra, then maybe you take a look at, maybe the data manager overview, and then the deep dive. But this one and the CMDB fundamentals, that's all you need. That's all you need. This one, the CMDB fundamentals, for the most part, that's all you need.
Yeah,
that's all you need. So don't. Yeah, that's especially the the CMDB one. Just do the thing. That one. Don't miss that one. Even if you have done it before, just go redo it. Then I think they added that CSDM part there, and then they now added the I think the information about the data foundation, free voucher, and stuff like that, which they put at the end of it. I think so. So it should be fine.
Okay.
It should be fine on there. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it should be good. Yeah. Don't you have until June to take it for free, at least for the most part. So the voucher, once you finish, they will send the voucher to your email. So that way you just go, go knock it out. You go knock it out. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, for the most part. Yeah. But well, that's really for the most part all you need. You don't need so much stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. Same thing fundamentals. That's it. Yeah. Do we have anyone that has the CSA that wants to go through? We can all walk through it together. If not, we're good to go. If you just got your CSA, you still have to take the Delta exam, just as an FYI. The only thing that's there is you don't need to pay the certificate maintenance program fee, which is the $200. You don't need to pay that, but you would definitely have to take the exam. So if you to go there to tell you, you would have gotten that message to tell you the certificate is about to expire, or that you need to fix that to keep it current, stuff like that. Just as an FYI, yes, you get that. You get that. It's next year, this same time next year, that you would. So 2027 for sure, you're going to have to pay. Yes, you'll pay. It's about Go ahead. Anywhere from 5 to 20 questions. It's not so much.
Thank you very much. I just wanted to get more clarity on what you just said concerning the CSA. So I'm trying to take the CSA exam. I'm trying to take this current one right now. And I just wanted to clarify what you just said. Like, you still have to take the Delta exam after you've done that?
Yes, correct. So long as you're within ServiceNow space, right? These certifications, each year there will be a Delta. The Delta is just new features that get released because ServiceNow has 2 releases each year. They also, that's major releases. They have quarterly releases. They even have monthly releases for a store release, because now they are going to store model. And then for mobile, I believe that they also have regularly, and then for patches and all. The whole essence is this. The essence is to release or update some of the features that they have. So they now would make that available to you. So for example, you certify in Zurich. Now you're going to be writing the exam to be for Zurich version. ServiceNow is going to be launching later on this first quarter. They'll be launching Australia. Then at the end of the year, there will be one for B, right? There will be a version for, it just means new applications, or some applications will be enhanced. That's all they do. So those new changes, they now will test that you're knowledgeable on them. So it means you have to read a study guide, which will be curated from the product release notes. So they just pick up the changes that they have, maybe on deprecations, things like that. They now feed that to you, and then have to test you on questions from just that part. It doesn't mean that you have to certify, except for some reason you choose not to take that Delta exam, then you will need to go recertify. Oh, God. If not, like others, you just need to use that to get updated regularly. That's all you're doing. Get updated regularly. The first year you do it, let's say you certify now, you have to do the exam next year. So, for example, if you're not yet up to 1 year within the space, so if you have not stayed in ServiceNow, as a certified practitioner for 1 year without your certification, then you would not pay the renewal the maintenance fee, which is that $200. But if not, if you have been certified and then now you're clocking on over a year, then for sure you pay that $200. And because without that $200, you can't access your exam. So just as an FYI, yes.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate that.
So yeah, I think what he needs to understand, or what I believe he was trying to ask, is he's planning to take the exam in 10 minutes from now, or say maybe in the shortest time possible. So if he does take the exam, if I'm going to go by what you said, he won't have to take that Delta exam until next year, right?
Yeah, his exam now
exactly.
Your exam
it will be Zurich, exactly. So you won't need to take that exam. That Delta exam that you are talking about just now, you won't have to take it until after that release. Yeah. So he's in the clear. Yeah, exactly. I think that answers the question, right?
Yeah, that answers the question. Thank you very much. And just to still add a little, but I don't want to pull you guys back, but just to still add, so after taking that if I'm
Yes.
preparing for the Delta maybe next year, did you say
Yeah.
that's going to be paid?
Right. If you certify now, right,
Yeah.
and it's under 1 year. So let's say you certify, maybe you certify within now and so by next January, you know, you should be getting up to, getting ready to pay to certify again, to do that Delta. But if you wait, you have 90 days, right? Within now and April, they will still be doing the Zurich exam. So you should be able to take the Zurich exam within, like if you're studying now, good luck with that. It's Zurich exam you're going to be taking for sure. So there's not going to be any exam for Australia until the B1. There will be that exam at that point, which will be in November. So that will be Australia, and that B1 will be taking the exam next January 27. And then that will be, if you certify now, then you should be paying then. But if you certify a little inside of this window, maybe you wait till like February or close to March. Maybe then you'll be cut off the hook to pay. But you would still be expected to write the exam, yes.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. But for the CSA one, just study that thing, and then make sure you get all those quizzes, document those. Try and do it about three to 5 times. Make sure that it's almost in your it's all in your head, and then there's that exam blueprints. Make sure within the exam blueprint they have a few questions. Have a a good understanding there. It should be fine.
So which
If you
quizzes are you
want, you
talking
can
about?
feed that. Huh?
Which quizzes are you referring to?
There are quizzes within each course, or that's on-demand courses. There are quizzes there. Make sure you know those quizzes, and then the labs that come with them, whatever labs to go into those interfaces. Make sure you're doing those, seeing what is where, and then at the end of it, there's an exam blueprint. The exam blueprint tells you the questions, how they cover, and then a few questions. They add maybe 4 or 5 questions or whatever. Sometimes even up to 9, depending. To have that, so that way those are kind of like guidance. If you want, you can also feed that into any AI system. Should help you crank out sample exam quizzes stuff. You can do that.
Thank you very
But that's all
much.
it is. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. All the best, man.
All the best. Thank you.
Once again, thank you, everyone.
Man.
Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Have a good one. Happy New Year. Bye-bye.
Thank you for the honor. We'll catch you again soon.
For
Thanks,
sure.
boss.